Zolder for the 5th race weekend of the Supercar Challenge, and Sunday dawns wet. Saturday's bright sunny weather saw lots of close action, and Sunday can presumably expect more of the same, but with added water. Ready for the start of race 2 for the Supersport and Sport cars, most on slicks, some have gone for wets. Which is going to be the correct choice? Poleman Bob Herber leading away. Supercar in second, but a good run on the left of the picture. A little twitch from the Lotus. Luc de Kock, the 211, up into 3rd place. Helmut Jan van der Silk started down in 7th place, but he's on wets, and that looks like the right choice. Look at that, already up to 2nd place. He is flying, and the cars on slicks are going to really struggle. Tyre temperature will plummet, as well as there being very limited grip. I guess Leon Zappi there was on slicks. On board with Peter Stocks. Luc de Kock in front. Big handful of opposite lock there through the Jackie X chicane. Meanwhile, challenge for the lead. Helmut Jan van der Silk in the Z4, taking Bob Herber on the inside. Second placed in the Sport 2 class, that's Teun Ruckers and Jeremy Adams Lotus having a little spin. And the leader pulling away quickly from Bob Herber in 2nd place in his Z4. And he's smoking heavily. That can't be good news. That's not spray. And he's obviously got warning lights. Pulls off immediately. On board with Nico Bain. Won the class in the dry in his Clio. And a spinner in front. Just misses Chris Furt's red Seat Leon. So a little further back, Supercar then. Lying in 3rd place in the BMW 3 Series. Across the gravel, Jonas de Kemper and Vincent de Pamal's Patronus Seat. And the safety car is out. Marcel van Rijswijk has crashed heavily. And the ambulance needed for him. Well, that's a big impact and not on common cars. Go very light over the brow there. Ambulance takes him to hospital, but he is okay. Going green once more. Helmut Jan van der Slik is the leader from Peter Hovenaars. Supercar's Ferry Monster. And in the background, the rest of the field streaming through. Priscilla Spellman here, diving by Ferry Monster. Ferry on slick tyres, and the rain coming down more heavily again. So the balance of power once more swaps to those on the wets. Nico Bain's Renault Clio still leading the Sport 2 category, but there's a great battle on for 2nd place behind Helmut Jan van der Slik. Supercar's Peter Hovenaars. Burkhart's in the 3 Series, drifting out a little wide. And Hovenaars taking advantage. Burkhart's having to get off the throttle there. And these two hard at it. Burkhart's now back up to 2nd place. Dives to the inside. Into the pit lane comes our race leader then. Well, it's raining harder than ever. And Leo van der Eyck taking over the yellow car. He'll be very glad that he's already got wets on that machine. Well, anybody who was on slicks may well want to change onto wet weather tyres now. Helmut Jan van der Slik saying everybody's taking it easy, being very sensible, thinking twice about overtaking, so very clever.
The gears are strange, it's a problem. And I keep thinking, what is the problem with the gears? And Jimmy's on the radio, he says, what tyres do you want? What tyres do you want? And I'm thinking, no, where's the gears gone? And the car has an automatic system. And unfortunately, the button is in automatic. Eventually, I managed to switch back. And okay, we have gears, we're okay.
All sorts of weird and wonderful things happening to cars out on the circuit. Oh, and the race leader struggling to get out of the pit lane without contact. But raining hard now, and that's going to be tricky. On board then with Leo van der Eyck in the Z4 Silhouette, and it is very treacherous indeed. Went wet to dry to wet in the first stint, and that will have damaged those wet weather tyres. On board with Jonas de Kemper, Chris de Weert's Seat, which spun earlier, tries to turn in, and there is contact there. Jonas saying we were battling for third place. We came in fifth, moved up to fourth. I was battling with Mr. Voet, and Van der Broek in the other Seat Leon tried to go through on the inside. He didn't see me and shut the door. My front wheel hit him and unfortunately broken the suspension. Ronald van Leeuwen started from the back of the grid, slowly moving forward on his wet weather tyres. Passing Peter van Soelen here for second place. Everybody struggling on those slicks. And on wet tyres as well, the leader is really struggling. Is there more to it than that? He's fighting the car every inch of the way. Well, some are coming in to change onto wet weather tyres. That is Peter van Vliet. And this is our Sport 2 leader, Nico Bain. Sounds like the engine's coasting. Gets it going again, but you don't need that sort of distraction in these awful conditions. So here's our Sport 1 leader, Michael Verhagen in the S2000 Honda. Priscilla Spelman in the BMW 1 Series. She's in second in that class. Nico Bain leading in Sport 2 from Frank Bedhoff, Michel Carr's Clio, and Rob Neiman in third. And Leo van der Eyck, the race leader, pulls off the track. Mechanical woes. And that will leave Ronald van Leeuwen as our race leader, as the other yellow Z4, Peter van Vliet, ends up in the gravel trap, fresh out the pits. So the blue BMW there is Ronald van Leeuwen leading the race. But he's got problems too. Peter Hovenaars and Robin Monster both pass him under yellows. Well, Robin Monster crosses the line in first place, but he and Peter Hovenaars will have a time penalty for that pass. So Luc de Kock, the Lotus that crosses the line in third place, will end up as the race winner. And the Sport 1 winner is Priscilla Spelman in the BMW after passing Michael Verhagen's Honda S2000. So all sorts of dramas with the weather and mechanical problems. Luc de Kock winning in Supersport from Koen Burkhart's Peter van Soelen and Robin and Ferry Monster. And Luke saying a shame for the accident with the BMW. I hope he's okay. But good news for me, I got in to change onto wets under the safety car. I rejoined at the back of the grid, but managed to get by a load of other guys that were still on slicks. And when the first two got a penalty, I'm the race winner. Indeed he is. Koen Burkhart's Peter van Soelen second, Ferry and Robin Monster in third place. And Ronald van Leeuwen with the BMW, electronics costing him a chance to get on the podium. Ferry and Robin Monster still leading the Supersport class from Burkhardt and van Soelen. And the brothers in their Seat not only winning the Seat class, but they are still on top of the championship standings as well. But it was anything but trouble-free. Yeah, we had problems with the brakes, says Robin. Me and Peter forced to get by, and that was under the yellow, so now we're third overall, first in Seats. Indeed, they lead the Seat Copa class. Top three, same as in race one. And in the championship, Ferry and Robin have the lead over Jimmy Andreassens and David Nye. So in the Sport 1 class, Priscilla Spelman is victorious in the BMW. I've never raced in the rain before, she says. I had no idea what to expect, but everything went great. Before the pit stops, I got into the lead. I had a lot of results, success second, so I rejoined after a longer pit stop in second place. And then on the last lap, managed to get by the leader to win it. Fantastic. So the Sport 1 class, Jan van der Voort and Priscilla Spelman taking victory in their BMW 1 Series on the final lap from Michael Verhagen's Honda. Guillaume Schultz leads the class though in the Lotus. It is very tight behind. When in the Sport 2 class, again, it was Nico Bain who claimed the top step on the podium in his Renault Clio. I'd like to support somebody. Eddie has had quite a serious accident this weekend, and this is for you, mate, so hope you get better. Nico Bain then, the Renault Clio driver, leads the Sport 2 class from Clio-based rivals. And Rob Neiman, the Sport Class Championship leader. Nico Bain, though, having a good weekend and closing those gaps in third. Well, stay with us after the break. We get in Sunday's action for the SuperGT and GT divisions. Lots more action to come from Zolder. This programme is brought to you by Dunlop Tyres, Autosportinsurance.com and Praga, New Generation. Zolder in Belgium for the 5th race weekend of the Supercar Challenge. Up next, the action from the Super GT and GT divisions. But before the races get underway, we'll take a closer look at a new development being tested this weekend for the first time.
Well, we're in racing just a few years ourselves. We think we have something unique because we've not seen it before. The product we're showing here today, I've never seen it on a race car in any shape similar to ours. Well, what we're introducing today is a remote, a race position display. It's an LED display of 2 digits on the side of a car in the shape of a label or a sticker, which you just stick on the door of your car. Inside is a small radio receiver, and the time control sends signals to every car on the track to change and update the displays. So it's a little receiver in the car and a radio at the time control, at race control. Today we're testing it in the fastest class in the Supercar Challenge. The reason for that is that the Supercar Challenge approached us for this solution and for a test to see if it's feasible that it can be on in the next race on all the cars. So the Supercar Challenge for us is a very important showcase, very fast cars, and they have multiple classes where they drive in. So spectators can easily now see in which position the car is racing, especially during pit stops and especially when you mix up classes. And the spectators lose track of who's in which position. Our race position display gives you a very good impression of that. It's not just for the Supercar Challenge. We're focused on 24-hour races, on endurance races. Think about an American Le Mans series, think about a Black Pain series, the 4-hour races. Think about 24-hour on the circuit of Zolder, where we are today, and think about the 24-hour of Spa-Francorchamps. I'm not thinking about Monza yet, but I mean these are race classes where you can see that there are a lot of cars on the track, a lot of spectators watching, and if you want to be close to the race, you need this information, we think.
Race time now, and the pole position is held by Cor Marcos that won Saturday's race. He says we're going to start on slicks. If it gets wet, we'll go on to wet tyres or inters. For now though, it looks like it's going to be dry, so got to be slicks. Well, if everything runs okay, then hopefully we should be able to stay in the top 3. Well, bad news for Cor wipers on even before the start, and those on slicks may well end up paying the penalty. Rick Abrecht, Jan Versluis and Robert de Graaf are the top 4. Behind Oyser. Oyser with the red nose, but look down the inside. Jan Versluis having a look as Robert de Graaf in the Viper goes around the outside to take the lead of the race from 4th to 1st. Further back, Pim van Riet struggling a little, won at the Nürburgring, but in 5th place here. Rick Abrecht in 3rd place now. Jan Versluys in 4th spot behind him in the Ferrari. And Pim van Riet losing ground all the time. This is not what he wants. Packed field, jostling for position all the way through the order. Battle for 9th, Barry Mason in the White Viper and Wim Lumbeck. He goes down to 10th place. Robert de Graaf leads in the Yellow Viper from Koolreuser, then Rick Abrecht, Jan Versluys, Noel Kohler with Diedrich Seithoff in the Corvette being challenged by Bert Lonchen. Lonchen goes through, retaking that 6th position. Oh, and there's problem. Carlo Kaya out yesterday, engine problems today. Well, the first lap, I tried to get close to the guys in front. My cornering speed was good. You can easily close up, and then suddenly it started losing power. On the start-finish straight, suddenly a loud bang. A few seconds later, the whole cabin was filled with smoke. And that was the end of that. So safety car out for clear-up operations. That car going nowhere in a big hurry. Well, Robert de Graaf, the race leader, going green once more. De Graaf with Oyser and Abrecht behind him. And Koolreuser not quite close enough to make a move at the start. Green flags wave all the way around the circuit. Now Koolreuser up to speed. Looking down at his favourite chicane, trying to make a pass. No chance of getting through there. On board with Pim van Riet. Well, not raining heavily, but the track's still a little slippery. And looking back from the leader, there is Koolreuser. Oh, he's got a run going down the inside, and the door is open. Oyser goes through to take the lead. Well, looked like Rick Abrecht almost got his nose in there as well. So Robert de Graaf in that Viper now in 2nd place, did well to hang on, but it's not over. Abrecht up the inside, into the first corner. Oh, is there contact? There is, I think perhaps. Jan Versluys goes by both of them on the inside in the Ferrari. He saw that developing, took advantage, and there's definitely contact there, and the other Corvette moves into the gap, and that's a disaster. Diedrich Seithoff turning Rick Abrecht round around his nose. And Diedrich Seithoff now challenging for 3rd place. One side of Robert de Graaf and Milko Tass and Bert Lonchen go through on the other side. It's a real knife fight out there. Leader goes by Pim van Riet. Well, Koolreuser pulling away fast and still battling hard behind. Diedrich Seithoff with Bert Lonchen, and contact there as well. That chicane is so narrow. Bert Lonchen saying, well, the cars are fast, they're spectacular, it's great to watch this racing, but some of the drivers need to be a bit more careful. It's not bumper cars. If you're driving a GT1 car, you can easily overtake me into a corner or under braking, but they're always bumping and boring. I'm not afraid of a little nudge, but next time we'll end up in the wall. Pim van Riet, oh, trying to slow down, struggling, and that's part of his problem. It's all right going quickly, but not if you can't slow down. Koolreuser, the race leader from Jan Versluys. Milko Tass there with a problem. Through goes Diedrich Seithoff. That's a change for 3rd. Most of the driving having a big lock up there. Looks like he may just have outbraked himself. Bit of breeze, bit of sunshine. Track's drying out. So slicks, it looks like, were the right choice at the beginning. Steve van Bellingen in the BMW Silhouette there, chasing Bert de Huys in the Viper. This is for 3rd and 4th in the GT class. And Jackie van der Ende in the Ford Mondeo Silhouette is leading in the GTB category. Koolreuser going through shot, romping away from everybody else. On board with Robert de Graaf in 6th position now, chasing Bert Lonchen. And the leaders are in traffic. They're right behind Seithoff and Tass. So that's 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th. Oh my goodness, look how buried Jan van der Kooi is in the Lotus. And that's a huge off Koolreuser. And there's a fire in the bonnet as well. He is buried in the tyres. It's going to be very hard for him to open the door there. He's in so deep. Well, safety car clearly out and pit stop window is open. I'll have a look here. Core racer coming down on the security camera, loses the car, tries to find a way of not going straight into the barriers, but it's a massive impact. The marshal's working hard for him. He's able to get out of the car under his own steam, but complaining of back pains, he's whisked to hospital. So, safety car out, pit stops a go-go. And the overall leader is now Kees Kreiner in the Aston Martin. Cars behind him are a lap down as Oiz's wrecked Marcos is towed out of the gravel. So going green once more. Kees Kreiner leading, and the blue Marcos there of Barry van Elk benefiting from the safety car. He's up to 5th place in the overall standings and in Super GT. Everybody again jockeying for position with lapped cars, slower cars, GTBs and GTs mingling with the Super GTs is going to be very tricky indeed. Trying to find their way through traffic. In some cases, it's like threading the eye of a needle. That's Artie van der Hoek, and looks like the Corvette is out. Milko Tas, and look at that, Philip Ribbons right behind. That's the battle for 4th in Super GT. Jan Verslijs, the race leader in his Ferrari, ahead of Alex van Toff in the Corvette, and Frans Lamotte now in the car started by Bert Lonchin. And then that 4-car battle, Milko Tas, Robert de Graaf, Barry van Elk and Rick Abrecht. Into the closing stages, still plenty of action. Let's take a look on board. In front is the 3rd place GTB battle. Dan Meyer and Errol Artan in their Porsches collide. Artan stays in front. Oh, and that's Milko Tas being pushed away at the bottom of the picture, as through for a drive-through comes Alex van Toff. And that was earned by Diederik Seitoff's driving. Jackie van der Ende slowing down. Meanwhile, Jan Verslijs heading through the chicane and off towards the checkered flag. It is going to be victory in Super GT for him, with Kees Kreiner's Aston Martin winning the GTB class, having led the whole race after the safety car. And Barry Mason's Viper, the white car, winning in GTs. So, victory for Jan Verslijs. He gets to spray the champagne at the end of a sunny afternoon. I didn't expect to do so well, he said. My first time in his car, the 458. Yesterday 3rd, today victory. Very excited. A confirmation of the result of round 10 of the Supercar Challenge. Jan Verslijs, Bert Lonchin and Frans Lamotte, both ahead of Alex van Toff and Diederik Seitoff, whose drive-through dropped them down to 3rd. But Seitoff still leads the championship standings from co-driver Alex van Toff, with Rick Abrecht in 3rd position. Well, in the GT race, it was victory for Barry Mason from Simon Atkinson. And Bert de Heus. Bert was first in the race, but made a mistake, missed his shift, I think he spun. Yesterday he ended up in the gravel trap. Today he had that spin, but he's still on the podium, and I've won the race, so that's great for me.
Ja, en ik dus naar plaats 1 en dat, ja, perfect.
Confirmation then, the Viper of Barry Mason wins the GT class from Simon Atkinson in that Lamborghini Gallardo, and Bert de Heus 3rd in his Viper. As far as the class standings go, Barry Mason still on top of the pile, and Henk Thuys and Pim van Riet in the BMW, well, they struggled this weekend, losing the championship lead. Into the GTB class, Kees Kreiner ahead of Charlie Frijns and Errol Artan.
Ik kwam alleen in de tweede ronde in de Bianchi-board.
Errol saying in the Bianchi corner I went off into the gravel, managed to get out, but I'd lost the splitter, so I had no grip at all on the front. Lost a lot of time in the exit of the corners, tried to push hard. The result was okay, but it was a tough race. So Kees Kreiner's Aston Martin leading to the flag in the GTB class from Rennie Ryan and Charlie Frijns. and Errol Artan and Rob Savers. And to round up the championship standings after 10 races, it is Weinen and Freins who lead from Kreiner, with Artan in third spot. Well, that's it then for the Zolder Superprix. Next time out, round 6 of the championship, races 11 and 12 at Assen. This programme is brought to you by Dunlop Tyres, Autosportinsurance.com and Praga, New Generation.